The Lifetime Achievement Award in Aviation is awarded annually in recognition of outstanding leadership, promotion, and consistent contribution to the continuous development of aviation in British Columbia.
Half a century ago, Mike Matthews' first aviation career with Her Majesty's Royal Air Force finished in 1956. However, half of his RAF career was spent in Canada, where he trained. Mike was part of the first post-war flight training class offered at Moose Jaw in 1954. His solo on the Harvard was his first encounter with the aircraft that he would come to know and fly so well. The following year, he progressed to jet training on the then newly introduced T-33 Lockheed at the base in Gimli, Manitoba. While visiting a friend in navigation school in Winnipeg, Mike met his future wife, Edie. His training complete, Mike returned to Europe and was based in Germany, where he flew fighter ground support using Vampires and later Venoms. In March of 1957, Mike Matthews immigrated to Canada, and his second career began with the Royal Canadian Air Force, flying T-33s based in Rivers, Manitoba. 2 months later, Mike and Edie were married. With Mike's experience in fighter ground support, he was assigned to a small tactical fighter unit specializing in low-level flight. Mike became reacquainted with the Harvard in 1960 when he became an RCAF flight instructor in Penhold, Alberta. Mike excelled as a flight instructor, and a year later was advanced to the position of training other flight instructors. Mike's skill and experience in precision flying, coupled with his interest in aerobatics, led to being part of a 7-aircraft precision flying team called the Goldilocks. The Goldilocks team, flying Harvards, were intended as a low-tech version of the RCAF's elite aerobatic unit, the Golden Hawks, in their F-86 Sabre jet fighters. When the Golden Hawks suspended flight operations, the Goldilocks were left as the Royal Canadian Air Force's only precision flying and demonstration squadron, performing at air shows throughout Canada and the United States, with Mike flying as lead solo. It was at the conclusion of one of these air shows that Mike was offered the opportunity to pilot and land a Ford Trimotor on a flight to LaGuardia, New York, before the aircraft was placed in the Smithsonian Institute. Mike was also involved in the proving and acceptance of the first 6 of the RCAF's new 2-seat Tudor training jets. The Tudor is still in service today with Canada's Snowbird demonstration team. For the first time in his career, Mike Matthews received a ground assignment with 4-wing based again in Germany. While in Germany, Mike began conversion training from the T-33 to the CF-104 Starfighter. Mike flew the skies over Europe with 422 Squadron for 3 years before returning to Canada as an instructor on the CF-104s at Cold Lake in 1969. In 3 years' time, Mike logged over 1,000 hours on the Starfighter without ejecting. The 70s saw Mike as senior training officer at the Staff College in Toronto. He was sent to Langley, Virginia on a U.S. Air Force exchange in air doctrine and strategy. Mike returned to Air Command Headquarters in Winnipeg as Senior Staff Officer for Operational Plans. Very few people have held this position of responsibility charged with the task of Canada's air defense strategy. While on this assignment, Mike Matthews was promoted to the rank of Lieutenant Colonel. Mike's military career culminated with his assuming the position of Commandant, Flight Training School, Portage La Prairie. His command included both fixed-wing and rotary-wing training schools. Early in his training, Mike had completed a helicopter training course and logged hours in command to help with this assignment. Throughout his military career, he demonstrated outstanding leadership and dedication to our country's armed forces. His third career with Transport Canada began in 1981 in the Central Region, Winnipeg, as the Aviation Regional Manager in Air Navigation System Requirements. For 4 years, he worked in positions relating to area aviation and airport planning, air navigation systems, and the management of safety and regulatory programs. In 1985, Mike transferred to Vancouver, the Pacific region of Transport Canada, where he had worked on the expansion of the Vancouver International Airport. He was involved in the planning, design, consultation, approval, and construction of the new Air Traffic Control Tower and the North Runway, Canada's first runway equipped with a Category 3 instrument landing system. By 1993, Mike had risen to the position of Regional Director, General Aviation for Transport Canada in the Pacific region, with responsibility for the safety and regulation of civil aeronautics, air navigation systems, and the air traffic control systems throughout British Columbia. Career number 4 saw Mr. Matthews joining the Vancouver International Airport Authority in 1997 as a consultant, supplying services to the airport and its subsidiary companies. Later that year, he became Director of Planning for YVR Vistas, later renamed Intervistas. Then, in 1998, he placed his career with Intervistas on hold for a year to serve as Vice President of Operations for the Vancouver International Airport Authority. When Mike returned to his Intervistas career, now as Senior Vice President Aviation and Airport Planning, the company flourished and grew from 20 to 60 people over 4 years. Mike has directed a wide variety of planning projects, including airport master plans at Mexico City, Yellowknife, Regina, Winnipeg, and Moncton. Within BC, he has provided planning support to Vancouver International Airport, Kelowna International Airport, Transport Canada, Abbotsford International Airport, Victoria International Airport, Cranbrook Airport, and the Pitt Meadows Airport. Since 2002, Mike has added to his career at Intervistas, taking on the leadership role in establishing the unprecedented 40-year master plan for the Vancouver International Airport. The unparalleled vision and guidance Mike has brought to this master planning process has guaranteed Vancouver International Airport's place as Canada's premier aviation gateway. As a testament to the outstanding leadership, commitment, promotion, and consistent contribution he has provided in all areas and roles he has undertaken, the British Columbia Aviation Council is proud to present Mike Matthews with the 2006 Lifetime Achievement Award in Aviation.
We just suddenly go IFR, isn't it? Chairman Ken, President Rowley, members of the board, members of the council, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor. Thank you very much for this recognition I received this evening. One thing that immediately comes to mind as I watch the video, though, that I've been extraordinarily adept in jumping from one compartment of aviation to another. I'm not sure who was chasing me, but they didn't catch me, did they? Well, it's some amazement that I look back on the career that as a result of receiving this award, it makes you just think about the time that you spend in aviation, and it's an extraordinary industry. And it's amazing to me that I spent over half of the time since man first flew heavier than air in the industry. And it just shows what a short period of time it is, that our industry has progressed to the point that it is today. Now, it's been an enormously exciting and rewarding experience. From flying the Mark II to hovering at 0 knots in a helicopter. It's all been thoroughly enjoyable and exhilarating. Each hour of my flying experience has been a great reward. And in recent years, the ability and opportunity to contribute to airport development I found particularly exciting and also almost a gripping experience, because when you're planning, it makes you think about what's going to happen in the future. And when you start to think about what might happen in the future of aviation, that certainly is very exciting. We just look back over the last 50 years, 100 years, and we know what's coming ahead. Now, this is essentially a very happy industry to work in. It's a very enjoyable place, whether you're actually in the military or in the civil side. It's all, for me, been tremendous fun. I'm not so sure, though, that it's been tremendous fun for my family all the time. But I must say that the contribution that I've received from my family, and particularly the support that I've received from Haiti, my dear wife, who I met over 52 years ago, as you saw, be married 50 years next year, is what has really made this a fantastic experience. Been a great companion, contributor.